buzz around Drew Holiday's potential trade continues to intensify as the 2025 NBA offseason unfolds, with teams looking to reshape their rosters ahead of the upcoming season. Boston Celtics find themselves at a crossroads when it comes to managing their salary cap, and Drew Holiday has emerged as one of the primary candidates to help the franchise create some financial breathing room while possibly bringing back meaningful assets in return. This situation has sparked a new wave of rumors and trade scenarios, with several teams now reportedly showing interest in the veteran guard. Among these, the Los Angeles Clippers have recently come into the spotlight as a serious suitor for Holiday's services. The Clippers are a franchise eager to improve after another season that fell short of their expectations. With Kawhi Leonard and James Harden still on the roster, two superstars who have faced their share of injuries and ups and downs, the team is looking to add savvy, experienced players who can provide stability and contribute to winning basketball immediately. Drew Holiday fits that mold perfectly. His reputation as a two-time NBA champion and a player known for making smart plays on both ends of the floor makes him an attractive target for a team that needs a boost without necessarily relying on draft picks or young talent, which the Clippers have in limited supply at the moment. One of the biggest challenges in making a trade happen, however, is Holiday's contract. He is currently signed for 3 more years at a substantial amount, close to $104 million. This long-term financial commitment is a hurdle, especially for the Clippers, who must carefully manage their payroll under the salary cap rules. Taking on Holiday's contract would mean sacrificing flexibility in the coming years, which is a difficult proposition for a team still trying to figure out its core and contend consistently in a competitive Western Conference. Looking back, the Celtics managed to win the bid for Holiday against the Clippers 2 years ago, a move that proved crucial in their championship run in 2024. Back then, the Celtics traded for Holiday after he was initially sent to Portland in a deal involving Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks. At the time, Holiday was somewhat of an underrated addition. He came at a relatively modest price, with Boston giving up 2 first-round draft picks and relying on some uncertainty around other players like Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams, who had injury concerns. Holiday turned out to be a key factor in the Celtics' success, contributing with veteran savvy and defensive toughness. Fast forward to today, and it's clear that the market won't be as favorable for Boston. Holiday's new contract extension raises the bar for any team looking to acquire him, so the Celtics are unlikely to receive a return equal to what they gave up in 2023. Still, the priority seems to be freeing up cap space while gaining some useful players or draft capital in exchange. The Clippers fit this profile perfectly. They have movable pieces on their roster that Boston could target, players who might help the Celtics now or later while clearing salary. The Clippers' current roster composition shows a mix of solid contributors and players who might be available for trade. Apart from Leonard and Harden, who appear to be locked in for the near future, the team has a number of contracts that could be moved to facilitate a deal. Players like Norman Powell, who earned a significant salary and performed well last season, are probably untouchable because of their value, but others such as Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, or lesser-known role players might be in play. The Clippers' lack of draft assets also means they may prefer to trade players with guaranteed contracts instead of giving up future picks. In this context, Holiday's veteran presence and championship pedigree are precisely what the Clippers want to add to their rotation. Their front office is reportedly looking for players who can make winning plays consistently and help the team maximize the remaining prime years of their core stars. Holiday's ability to defend, handle the ball, and deliver in crucial moments aligns with those needs. Even though his salary is steep, the Clippers seem willing to absorb it if the Celtics are able to throw in some contracts that balance the books and provide immediate value. This emerging scenario leads to several trade ideas, most of which revolve around Boston receiving players like Bogdan Bogdanovic, a sharpshooter known for his ability to score off the bench and stretch the floor. Bogdanovic's contract is sizable, but he offers reliable production that fits the Celtics' style, especially given their emphasis on three-point shooting. Alongside him, Players like Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn could also be part of the package, bringing versatility and depth to the Celtics roster. Derrick Jones Jr. has shown flashes of athleticism and defensive prowess, while Chris Dunn, though not a high-usage offensive player, provides solid backup point guard minutes and ball handling skills. His ability to play defense on the perimeter makes him a useful piece in a rotation that often requires switching and physicality. Including these players in a trade would not only give Boston more roster flexibility, but also help in clearing cap space, particularly if Derrick Jones Jr. is moved again or involved in a 3-team deal to offload his salary. Another potential trade variant involves Drew Eubanks and Jordan Miller coming to Boston along with Bogdanovich, a move that would likely clear more immediate salary but might lack impact players beyond Bogdanovich. This scenario would simplify the financial side of the deal, avoiding the need for a third team, but raises questions about the Celtics' depth and ability to maintain competitiveness without acquiring meaningful contributors in return. As the offseason progresses, the Celtics will need to weigh these options carefully. They must balance the urgency of salary cap relief with the desire to remain competitive in the Eastern Conference, especially with key players like Jason Tatum potentially missing time due to injury. Adding reliable scorers and defenders is essential, but they cannot afford to mortgage their future by giving up too many draft picks or young assets. Meanwhile, other teams are also in the mix. The Dallas Mavericks have been mentioned as a possible landing spot for Holiday, though recent reports suggest their interest might be cooling off. With a core led by Luka Doncic and a focus on maintaining cap flexibility for future moves, the Mavericks could be hesitant to take on Holiday's hefty contract unless the price is right. The Celtics might prefer to deal with a team like the Clippers, who have more immediate needs and are willing to exchange valuable players rather than solely relying on draft picks or young prospects. Overall, Drew Holiday's trade saga is shaping up to be one of the more intriguing storylines of the 2025 NBA offseason. For Boston, moving Holiday could unlock crucial salary space, helping them navigate the league's complex financial landscape and build a roster capable of contending once their stars are fully healthy. For the Clippers, acquiring Holiday would signal a push to return to playoff prominence with a veteran leader who brings experience, toughness, and championship pedigree. As the talks continue behind closed doors and teams explore different trade packages, Celtics fans and NBA followers alike will be watching closely for any updates. The landscape of the league is always shifting during the offseason, and the potential movement of a player like Drew Holiday carries ripple effects that extend well beyond the immediate trade itself. Whether Boston chooses to move forward with a deal involving the Clippers or explores other suitors, the coming weeks promise to be filled with developments that will shape the Celtics' future and influence the broader NBA landscape. While the Clippers seem to be the most logical and immediate suitor for Drew Holiday, there's still plenty of speculation surrounding other teams that could enter the mix or emerge as unexpected contenders. One such franchise that has been mentioned in recent discussions is the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks have been evaluating their roster and cap situation carefully, especially with Luka Doncic as their cornerstone and the franchise looking to build around him for sustained success. However, according to seasoned NBA journalist Bob Ryan, the Mavericks may not be as close to acquiring Holiday as some might have hoped. Bob Ryan, well known for his decades of NBA coverage and respected insight into the league, recently weighed in on the Mavericks' pursuit of Holiday. He suggested that while the Mavericks could logically benefit from adding a veteran like Holiday, who brings championship experience and a strong defensive mindset, they might not be in a position to pull off a deal this offseason. Ryan points out that the Mavericks' assets and cap flexibility may not align with what Boston would be looking for in exchange for Holiday, especially considering the high value the Celtics would want for such a key player. In particular, the Mavericks' potential trade pieces might not provide the Celtics with enough value to justify moving Holiday. Players like Daniel Gafford and a few other role players might make the financial math work. But in terms of immediate impact and fit, Boston would likely prefer more proven contributors. For example, Bogdan Bogdanovich, who figures prominently in Clippers trade discussions, offers a scoring punch and shooting ability that would fit well in the Celtics system, especially given the team's emphasis on floor spacing and outside shooting. Furthermore, the Mavericks are likely focused on maintaining some cap flexibility and preserving draft assets for the future. Adding Holiday's large contract could restrict their ability to maneuver later on, particularly as they look to build a championship-caliber roster around Luka Doncic and a supporting cast that still needs some key pieces to be truly elite. The Mavericks may also be wary of committing to a veteran guard whose best years could be behind him, especially when they are trying to balance youth and experience on their roster, with the Mavericks potentially stepping back from the Holiday sweepstakes. This opens the door for the Celtics and Clippers to work out a deal more aligned with both teams' needs. From Boston's perspective, the priority remains clearing salary cap space while adding players who can contribute immediately. The Clippers, on the other hand, want to bolster their backcourt with a player who can defend, run the offense, and provide leadership, qualities that Holiday exemplifies. Negotiations will likely revolve around balancing these priorities, with both sides looking for the best possible outcome. One intriguing aspect of these trade discussions involves the role of draft picks. The Celtics have shown willingness to part with first-round picks in recent trades, including the original deal that brought Holiday to Boston. However, the cost of moving Holiday now could be different given his contract and age. Some proposed trade ideas include Boston sending the 28th overall pick in the upcoming draft to the Clippers, while others suggest the Celtics might try to protect future picks or limit their losses to maintain long-term flexibility. In exchange, Boston could receive a mix of veteran players and young contributors who offer a combination of scoring, defense, and positional versatility. Bogdan Bogdanovic stands out as the centerpiece of such a return package. Over the past few seasons, he has established himself as a reliable shooter who can come off the bench and provide instant offense. His ability to shoot catch-and-shoot threes at a high volume makes him a valuable asset for any team that relies heavily on spacing and pace. Despite a slight dip in shooting efficiency in the most recent season, Bogdanovic's overall track record suggests he could thrive in Boston's system, particularly with more open looks and better offensive schemes designed around his strengths. Alongside Bogdanovic, players like Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn add depth and versatility. Jones is known for his athleticism and defensive effort, while Dunn offers solid ball handling and perimeter defense. Though neither is a star, their skill sets fit well with what the Celtics might need in supporting roles, especially if the team expects to be without Jason Tatum for an extended period. These players could help maintain competitiveness while allowing Boston to develop younger talent and keep their core intact. Of course, trade discussions often involve more complex financial and roster considerations than what meets the eye. For example, Derrick Jones Jr. carries a salary of around $10 million, which the Celtics might want to move again to maximize cap relief. This could require a third team to be involved in the trade, creating a multi-layered transaction that allows Boston to shed salary while acquiring players who fit their immediate needs. The logistics of these deals can be complicated, but the Celtics front office has shown creativity and flexibility in navigating the NBA's salary cap rules. Alternatively, the Celtics might pursue a trade that brings fewer players but clears more salary. One such scenario includes acquiring Drew Eubanks and Jordan Miller alongside Bogdanovic, which could free up a significant chunk of cap space but might leave the Celtics with less depth and fewer proven contributors. This option carries some risk, as Eubanks and Miller have yet to demonstrate consistent impact at the NBA level, but the financial benefits could be appealing if Boston prioritizes flexibility and future roster moves. Ultimately, the decision will hinge on Boston's broader team building strategy and how they view their championship window. With stars like Tatum and Jaylen Brown still leading the way, the Celtics are likely aiming to remain competitive in the short term while keeping an eye on sustainability. Moving Holiday for the right package could strike that balance, freeing up cap space to sign or trade for complementary pieces, acquiring shooters and defenders to plug gaps, and preserving enough draft capital and young talent to keep the team viable long-term. As the offseason progresses, Celtics fans will be watching closely to see how these rumors and trade talks unfold. Drew Holiday's name will undoubtedly remain central to the conversation, as his departure or retention could significantly impact Boston's fortunes next season. Meanwhile, teams like the Clippers are positioning themselves for a push to return to playoff prominence, making this potential trade a high-stakes chess match in the ever-shifting landscape of the NBA offseason. Whether it's the Clippers, the Mavericks, or another team stepping up in the coming weeks, one thing is clear. The Celtics front office has important decisions to make regarding Jrue Holiday's future. Balancing financial flexibility, roster needs, and competitive ambitions will require careful navigation, and fans should expect plenty of updates, rumors, and possibly surprise developments as the trade market heats up. The Jrue Holiday saga is far from over, and its resolution could shape the Celtics' trajectory for years to come. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. A controversial statement has stirred the airwaves around the Boston Celtics, sending fans and analysts alike into a frenzy over the uncertain futures of Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday. A high-ranking executive within the Celtics organization recently made remarks that hint at significant changes potentially looming on the horizon for the team's roster. While no official confirmation has come from the front office, the cryptic comments have ignited widespread speculation about the stability of Boston's current core. Porzingis, the towering forward known for his unique blend of size, shooting, and mobility, arrived in Boston amid great fanfare and high expectations. However, his tenure with the Celtics has been marked by inconsistency, injury woes, and flashes of brilliance that often left fans wondering what could have been. Meanwhile, Holiday, a tenacious and versatile guard, brought defensive grit and veteran leadership that many believed would solidify Boston's backcourt for years to come. The executive's statement suggested that the team is evaluating all options as it looks to reshape its future. A cryptic hint that neither Porzingis nor Holiday may be guaranteed a long-term place in the Celtics' plans. This has sparked a wildfire of rumors that the franchise might be considering trades or roster moves to free up cap space or bring in new pieces better suited for their championship aspirations. Insiders speculate that the Celtics front office is under pressure to maximize the value of its assets while navigating a highly competitive Eastern Conference landscape. Porzingis, with his expiring contract and fluctuating health, might be viewed as a potential trade chip to acquire more reliable or complementary talent. Meanwhile, Holiday's defensive prowess and playoff experience make him a coveted asset league-wide, raising the possibility that Boston could leverage his value in a deal targeting a star player or future draft picks. Fans have been quick to react on social media, divided between those hoping the Celtics hold on to these key players and those eager for bold moves that could catapult Boston back to the NBA's elite. Analysts caution that while the executive's words are certainly attention-grabbing, they should be taken with a grain of salt until more concrete decisions are announced. As the trade deadline approaches, the pressure mounts for the Celtics to clarify their intentions. Will they stand firm on their current roster, or is a shakeup imminent? The possibility that both Porzingis and Holiday might be moved is now a tantalizing storyline gripping the Celtics faithful and the wider basketball world. Only time will tell if this rumble within Boston is the calm before a major storm of roster changes or simply a fleeting rumor blown out of proportion. For now, all eyes remain fixed on the Celtics front office as whispers of uncertainty continue to swirl around two of their most intriguing players. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.